Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Knowles. As you may know me from my website, susanknowles.com. That's SUSANKNOWLES.com. And for those who don't know you, a little bit about my background. I'm a former practicing attorney in California and also a licensed psychotherapist in California. And I'm coming to you tonight. I have a guest online, and we weren't able to hook up with a camera. So I'm going to have her on the telephone, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself. And I had spoken with you last night on the Spreecast forum in regards to Free Justina, and that is Free Justina Pelletier. And I have the lady on the phone. Her name is Melissa. And she is the person that's on Facebook and who's going to be leading a protest on Monday. So, Melissa, thank you for joining us tonight. And if you could tell me a little bit about yourself, that would be great to get started.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to share information with you and everybody else. My name is Melissa, and I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm basically a stay-at-home mother of three, and I got involved back in about 2012 with, kind of these situations when there was a child by the name of Elizabeth Ray who had a similar situation where she was at Boston Children's Hospital, and she had custody was taken away from her parents. She had a rare condition, and quite similar story unfolded, and she eventually did get to go home. But basically, I was contacted by a member of the family of Justina Pelletiers shortly after they had the custody taken away through my Free Elizabeth webpage on Facebook. And been in contact with the family pretty much ever since. And we're hoping to have a nice turnout for our protest on Monday.
No, getting back to the first case that you were talking about in 2012, I believe, Elizabeth Ray, it's W-R-A-Y, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and just a little bit of background about her. Can you tell me a little bit about like her age and what she had and a little bit of what occurred that you remember?
Sure. Elizabeth Ray was a 15-year-old, well, she's probably older now, but at the time was 15, and she had a condition that was called PANDAS, P-A-N-D-A-S, and that is short for Pediatric Autoimmune Neuropsychiatric Disorder Associated with Strep, which is considered a rare illness. You could think of it, and there's an easy way to, figure out what that is. It's basically rheumatic fever of the brain.
Wow.
So instead of this antibodies attacking a person's heart, they attack a part of the child's brain and cause basically usually abrupt onset of neuropsychiatric issues such as OCD, anxiety, anorexia, things like that. You can certainly look up PANDAS online to figure out more about that. I would encourage that. And she was, and unfortunately, PANDAS can affect a child's eating habits. Oftentimes, children have issues regarding contamination of their food. They have, for some reason, they have fears of choking, which is a very common one with PANDAS children. And it also where the antibodies attack called the basal ganglia of the brain, and the appetite center is close by there. So whatever's happening in there sometimes affects the patient's appetite directly.
Okay.
So Elizabeth was, having trouble eating, and her local hospital had, suggested to the parents that they should probably try a larger facility to see if they could, help her, with her condition.
Okay.
I believe her physicians offered her, a couple suggestions, one of which was Boston Children's Hospital. And, without hearing of any of these cases, when you think, or used to think of Boston Children's Hospital, you would think, world-renowned, top of the line medical facility. And that's what the parents thought, and that's what they did. They brought her to Boston Children's Hospital in hopes of, hopefully getting her some help. I don't recall off the top of my head how long it took, but basically, again, custody was taken away from the parents, and she was placed in DCF custody, and she was kept in a locked psych ward called Bader 5, BADER 5,
Okay.
at Boston Children's Hospital. She was locked in there for roughly, 8 to 10 months approximately. I don't have a lot of the details, because they were also issued a gag order at one point so that, information couldn't be shared easily
And
or legally.
and are you familiar with some of these cases? Is it typical for a court in these cases with, let's say, Boston Children's and DCF to order, have a gag order so the parents aren't allowed to talk to anyone? Has that been your experience?
Only with these two main cases that I've worked with, since Justina's case out, more publicly, especially in around November when the media finally picked it up. That's when the gag order was, issued. Was about mid to late November for the Pelletiers. But from February till then, there was no gag order. Once Justina's story came out, I did receive information and requests and information from other families who also had trouble with Boston Children's Hospital and DCF. I'm not familiar with them as intricately as I am with this situation or even Elizabeth Ray's situation. But with these two cases, which are similar, yes, they do issue the gag order if they don't want anything to be told.
And if you know, did it take the family in the Elizabeth Ray case? Did they have to have an attorney come in, or how did they finally resolve that, where they returned custody to the parents?
I don't know that specific information. I do know that they had at least one high-profile attorney that is handed as Elizabeth. Beth Maloney. She's an author and an attorney, and she helped get Elizabeth home. Nice. I don't know the specifics to which, she was allowed to leave. That would be great information to have, honestly. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, I'm sure that there was a lot of legal wrangling done. But I do know that Elizabeth is home as of August of last year. And was said to be doing much better, and they no longer have any kind of connection to DCF or Children's Hospital. So, in a sense, they're free and clear from the state anyway.
Okay. And then, so far, can you tell me a little bit about the protests that you have scheduled for Monday, about where it's at, how many people right now are coming, and a little bit about what you hope to achieve?
Sure. We've actually had protests just about every hearing that the Pelletiers has had since at least November. Okay. They've all varied in size, from a handful of 5, diehard supporters to the most I think we had was 20, and I think that was around January 10th. This protest is at the same location. It's I can't recall off the top of my head, and I apologize, the name of the courthouse, but the location is 24 New Chardon Street.
Okay.
In Boston.
Okay.
It's a juvenile court, and we're scheduled to have everyone show up at 9 a.m. and stay till at least 1 p.m.
Okay.
The hearing itself, the family will be in front of a judge roughly around 11 a.m.
Okay. All right.
So we really like to have people out there before the family even arrives, before some of the employees arrive, so that they see the support. That the family can see the support when they are pulling in, to park, that they are not alone in this fight. And I like to think that the employees, maybe the parties in the case, I don't know, but they see us out there, that we're taking it seriously and we're not letting it go.
Okay.
I like that thought too. I like to think of that. that way
Absolutely.
anyway.
I think it is very important to stay very visible and very vocal, in a very legal, a legal way, of course,
Yeah.
and in front of the courthouse like that, I think is a very good idea. Now, are there signs, or do you encourage people to make signs? And if so, if they're making them, what would you like for them to do with that?
Sure. The courthouse, it's kind of like a courtyard. It's pretty large. I think we can fit quite a few people there. The court actually has been very cooperative with us, and we're cooperative with them. There's certain places we can't stand. As far as when you get there, you'll see there's some steps that lead up to the entranceway. And
Okay.
steps up, we're not allowed to stand.
Okay.
But in the courtyard, we can fill. The public sidewalks, we can fill. That's fine. We cannot block anybody from getting in or out, whether it's on purpose or just by the sheer numbers. We have to make sure that other people are having cases the same day, the same time. They need to be able to get in and out. That's definite. Needs to happen.
Okay.
As far as signs, people can write whatever comes to their heart and their mind. It could be something as simple as Free Justina. I've had signs that say close Bader 5. The key to making signs, though, from my experience, is to make very visible letters, large writing on a large piece of poster board.
Okay.
You don't want to have a giant paragraph, because it is a very visible area, a major intersection near Government Center in Boston. And the way I like to think is I want someone driving by to be able to read my sign. I don't want to have someone come up to it, 3 inches away and try to read what it says. You want to make it just a very bold, brief, easy to read statement.
Okay, wonderful. And for those people who can't be there and don't live in the area, what can we do to help support?
Sure. There's a great Facebook page. It's called Free Justina Pelletier. You can search it up and join on there. There's a lot of information there, and I'd like to call it the official Facebook page for activities for the family, or at least the supporters of the family. The family are not on that page as far as administrators or anything like that.
Okay.
But there's a lot of suggestions on who to call, letters to write. As you may have heard on Glenn Beck, the family's in severe financial ruin, trying to battle DCF and Boston Children's Hospital, which have pretty much unlimited funds. They certainly are accepting donations if people are able, and that's at freejustina.com.
Okay.
And just calling, keep sharing on Facebook, keep posting it on walls. I don't want to call it harassment, but harass the people that can actually do something. Do something about it, because a lot of our elected officials are hiding behind other terminology, saying they can't help because of this and that. I'd like to think that someone that I elected and that we pay as a society could actually make a phone call to the head of DCF or the governor and say, listen, what are you doing to this poor child? So I'd like to encourage people to do that. Definitely, there's another Facebook page that was started by the family, and it's called A Miracle for Justina. That's a great page as well. The judge had actually placed a gag order on it at one point. They ever imagined putting a gag order on a Facebook page.
Wow.
For the latest information, you really want to check out the Free Justina Pelletier Facebook page. That's where you're going to find out information.
Okay. And I know that, you're in contact or have been in contact with the family, and I don't want to ask any information that you don't want to talk about, but is there, if there's any way that you can get a message to the family to let them know that there are so many people out here that care about them and care about Justina, and that we really, want her returned to the custody of her parents, and pass along our prayers and our hopes for the family, if you would. And if there's anything that, if you want to share about the family, or, please feel free to do that. Anything?
I would like to. I've gotten to know them, pretty much remotely over the last year or so. And, what I'd like to say is, what a lot of people ask me, there must be more to the story. Hospitals and DCF don't just take children. And, as I sit here right now and I think about it and all, what I know, there is not more to the story. These are good, loving parents. And what I'd like to say is, if they've just done something wrong and did something evil and horrible to their child, why are they fighting so darn hard to get her back? Tooth and nail. If they were bad parents, they wouldn't be fighting this hard, I don't think.
Right.
They're very devoted. The whole family, just rallies around one another. Very, very tight family, a well-respected family. Obviously a very strong family for having to deal with all this, especially in having to do it in a public fashion.
Right.
I don't know how they do it, quite frankly. Justina, obviously I haven't met her yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hopeful that someday when she's well, I will get to meet her and give her a hug finally. But from, what I hear about Justina is that she's a very strong child, a strong person, just to be able to, keep staying up with the fight, keep going and keep going, when she's being put through pretty much hell on earth. We are concerned, as many are, we hope that she makes it through this. There is a risk, at least we believe that, her life is in immediate danger and her health is at immediate risk. So we'd ask that good vibes, prayers, whatever it is that you do, you please send them to Justina, just to keep on going, because we are doing our absolute best to get her out, and at least get her medical attention, because where she's at right now, they do not provide medical care, and she is not doing well, from what I hear. And I would just like everyone to do what you can. I know that it seems hard to believe that this is a story that could happen, but it is happening. And the more I learn how it's happening, not just here in Boston, it's happening in other places in this country. And, if it was your kid, would you want me to run a protest? You would.
Absolutely.
If it was your kid, would you want to make a small donation, have someone make a small donation so that you could keep paying your legal fees and your mortgage and you could buy food? You absolutely would. And would you break a gag order so that, people actually know the truth and that you can save your daughter? You absolutely would. It's a no-brainer on my side, but Justina, is definitely in my thoughts constantly. And, from talking to people that know her, she's just a wonderful child, with a sparkly, loving attitude, loves her big sisters and her dog. She loves her dog so much. She has a German Shepherd named Roxy, I believe, and she misses her dog, and the dog I'm sure misses her. But, it's just a very solid family. And you know what? Let's focus on the children. Let DCF focus on the children that have gone missing, presumed dead. Let them focus on those children. This child is very much wanted, very well taken care of. Let's focus on the kids that aren't. That's my statement.
Well, and I really appreciate, and I know that the people who are going to be watching this really appreciate all that you're doing and going out there and protesting. And
we will absolutely not stop until she is home, until she is well. And you know what? It doesn't stop there, because until there's something changed or there's a law in Justina's name or something, it will keep happening.
Absolutely.
So this is not going to be the end. Her getting out is not the end. That's almost a new beginning, because it's got to stop. We will put a stop to this one way or another. Hopefully, Justina has gone through this, not in vain, but hopefully so that another child will not ever have to suffer ever again in this manner.
Absolutely. And
my personal promise is that I will do everything that I'm able to do to make that happen.
Wonderful, wonderful. And
it's going to be my child just as easily as somebody else's.
And absolutely, and as like you said, it will be somebody else's child. And if we all kind of look at this as, well, it's not my child, and I really don't need to do anything about it, I think that's a serious mistake. because it's happening every day, and I think people are waking up to surprisingly how easy it is to remove a child from the custody of their parents.
All it really takes for DCF to come to your home is an anonymous phone call.
Right.
DCF doesn't really even need to prove anything to anybody about having to remove a child, from what I've learned. They just need like a reasonable cause, and you're just stuck in it. You're just stuck in it, and you can't get out.
And it's a long process when it begins. As a psychotherapist, I've worked with Child Protective Services. I know how easy it is for them to remove a child and how long the process is for a possible reunification with the parents, if at all, or a total loss of their parental rights. And it's very easy. And Melissa, I would hope that on Monday, maybe perhaps you and I can talk again after the protest, and you can kind of fill me in on some things that went on there, if you will. I know the viewers would love that.
And certainly watch the Facebook event page, because
Absolutely.
There will be photos taken. It would be good for anybody local. There will be probably quite a bit of media, at least locally, and from Connecticut there.
Okay.
So definitely tune into your local Boston channel and Connecticut channel, especially Fox Connecticut. Bill Berman, broke the story in November, and most of this would not have happened without his brave reporting. And a big shout out to him for standing up for what's right. We all appreciate him. He's a good guy.
Wonderful.
Can I just say one more thing too?
Sure.
I actually lost my train of thought. So I apologize.
It's okay.
But yeah, I can't remember what I was thinking. That's okay. I think I've gotten the point out. But this is a good family. This is a situation that needs to stop as soon as possible. And we need to fix this, and not just in Boston, but in this whole country. Absolutely. It's absolutely critical.
Well, if you will, if even while you're there at the protest, if you get a chance, you want to call me then or afterwards, anytime that I can talk to you and get some information and put it out there to people, anything that you need done, right away, or that the word needs to be heard right away, I will certainly get that out. And then perhaps later on Monday, we can do a quick YouTube video, and I can update people so that they are sure to get this information, because being across country or different parts of the United States, we may not even hear about this.
Right. Well, it's our goal that you will hear about it. But yes, certainly, I can tell you from past experiences with much smaller anticipated crowd, it's been a little bit busy to, do much communicating at Justina, I'll call it, other than photos. But I will certainly do my best. And again, one thing I wanted to mention was, if anyone makes a sign, please do not attach it to any kind of stick. That's per Boston Police Department, because they view that as a potential weapon. We just ask everyone stay respectful. It's an emotional situation, but we don't want to be part of the problem. We want to come across as, respectful, passionate individuals, not violent, disrespectful people.
Absolutely. So no sticks on the posters. Just bring the posters and stay calm, and don't approach the family either. I know that people want to go up and talk to the family, but that is not the time or place to do that.
Thank you for pointing that out. I did add that to the event today.
Great.
When they come out of the court, if they choose to be seen, they usually get mobbed by the media, which is a problem in itself. But we will ask protesters not to do that. No one has ever actually done that, but with a larger expected crowd, we will make sure that cannot happen physically.
Okay.
There will be people there to make sure that doesn't happen.
Wonderful.
So, even if you're supportive and you just want to give people a hug, just realize they might have gone through who knows what in that courtroom.
Absolutely.
I do remember the thing that I lost track of is that it is potential that final custody could be decided on Monday.
Okay.
So it could be decided that Justina is DCF property, but custody until she's 18. That is a possibility. There's a possibility that she'd be sent back, to the custody of her parents, although she probably will have to go to another medical facility. But it is possible that the judge says, you know what, she's DCF child now, and, until she's 18, that's the way it's going to be. That is a possibility.
So it is really important for everybody to get out there, contact people, anybody sponsors of Boston Children's, anybody that you know, governors, attorney generals of both Connecticut, Massachusetts. And if you can be at the protest on Monday, be there to show your support. Keep tweeting all of the information. And Melissa, why don't you give us one more time the name of the Facebook page that everyone can go to?
Two Facebook pages that you can go to would be A Miracle for Justina. That was created by the family. It's not really updated frequently for legal reasons, but you can go to a great group, kind of the official Facebook page for the family, as far as information about the situation. It's not run by the family, but it's called Free Justina Pelletier, and it might say from Children's Hospital. But if you go into the search box and type in Free Justina Pelletier, it should come right up. There's over 7,000 members.
Okay. Wonderful.
That group. And then if anyone's kind enough to make a donation, even if it's $5 for this family, freejustina.com.
Okay, wonderful. And again, I'm going to have all this information, including this YouTube video, is going to be on my website at susanknowles.com. And again, I hope to continue to bring you updates. And Melissa, Godspeed to you, and our prayers with you and everyone who's going to be there on Monday. And we hope that Justina will be freed on Monday to return to the custody of her parents. And I will look forward to an update from you on Monday.
Great, and I really appreciate you having me on. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come out with more information, and I appreciate the support, and we'll pass on to the family your support as well.
Great, thank you
very, very much.
Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon. You take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.